Get this. The CDC stopped testing people for swine flu in July. Why? Because CDC assumed there was already an epidemic, and therefore more tests would be a waste of time and money. CBS has been trying to obtain state-by-state numbers for swine flu cases compiled by the CDC before the testing was stopped. The CDC has refused to come across with those numbers. It's been stonewalling CBS for the last 3 months. Why? No answer from the CDC. But the truth is obvious. The actual swine flu case numbers don't begin to match the ominous pronouncements about swine flu from the CDC, and the case numbers certainly don't match the general press hysteria and fear-mongering. But CBS didn't stop at the stonewall of the CDC. They went to individual states who continued to test patients for swine flu after July, and they obtained some very interesting figures. The figures show that all sorts of illness one might blithely assume was swine flu was not swine flu. In California, based on 13,704 tests for suspected swine flu, only 2% of the patients had swine flu. That's right. 12% had some other kind of flu. And a whopping 86% didn't have flu at all. What did the 86% have? Who knows? A cold? A brief cough? A case of fear generated by the CDC. Boom. In Florida, based on 8,853 tests for suspected swine flu, only 17% had swine flu. 83% were negative for other flu. So 83% didn't have any kind of flu. In Alaska, based on 722 tests for suspected swine flu, only 11% had swine flu. In Georgia, based on 3,117 tests, only 2% had swine flu. 2%. I have to mention that there are at least 2 problems, even when lab tests for swine flu are done. First, the so-called rapid test, according to the CDC itself, does not definitively identify H1N1. And 2, and much more important, none of the usual swine flu tests assess the number of swine flu viruses in the body of a particular person. Why does that matter? Because you need millions of a particular virus chomping away to even begin to say that virus is contributing to illness. So we can assume that the very low numbers of actual swine flu cases these states are reporting are even lower. Much lower. The degree of lying and obfuscation here is huge. The CDC has been caught with its pants down around its ankles. The epidemic is at best a trickle. The game is over. But of course the hysteria will continue. The CDC will ignore these revelations. The vaccine campaign will continue. The utter bullshit will keep piling higher and higher. The drug companies will keep bringing up the cash register. President Obama, whose cabinet post, Health and Human Services, is in charge of the CDC, will perhaps not even know what is going on. If he does figure it out, he'll do nothing. The train has already left the station. It's too late to suffer the level of executive embarrassment the truth would deliver. Remember this moment. Remember it because you know that, in the future, the CDC will be making announcements about other diseases. You'll be able to muster the amount of gargantuan doubt that the CDC deserves.